If you're hunting for horror movie recommendations, you've come to the right place. Here's my quick list of 5 great Japanese horror movies you might not have seen. Ring. Okay, so this one's a classic, maybe more known for its American remake, but absolutely better and scarier in the original Japanese version. Journalist Reiko investigates rumors of a cursed videotape after the mysterious death of her niece. Eventually finding the tape herself, she watches its strange mix of seemingly unrelated images, unknowingly incurring the wrath of spirit Sadako. This is one of those films that's kind of entered the mainstream pop cultural unconsciousness, with the stringy-haired ghost girl Sadako and the flickering TV set forming the basis of many knockoffs and parodies. It's surprising then that watching this film, even now, is actually a terrifying experience. The initial viewing of the videotape is still horrifying, with its uncanny images retaining a lot of power. If you enjoy this, it's well worth seeking out and reading the novels. I think there's 5 of them now, which expand a lot on the story and movie in interesting and very odd directions. Qui Dan. The oldest film on this list, Qui Dan is a 4-part anthology that interprets classical Japanese ghost stories. A swordsman is plagued by the evil hair of his ex-wife. 2 woodcutters encounter a mysterious spirit. A blind musician plays to a court of ghosts. An attendant sees a mysterious face in a cup of tea before being confronted by spirits. Qui Dan isn't really scary despite having lots of striking images in it. What's more notable about the film is how beautiful it is, being very carefully constructed to respect the traditional stories it's adapted from, while also showcasing them in a really gorgeous light. Its impressionistic cinematography complements the ornate sets, often combined with pointedly fake backdrops. It's more like reading a lavishly illustrated book than a traditional film-watching experience. And far away from its filmic merits, Qui Dan is well worth watching for any fan of Japanese horror because it draws so explicitly on the stories that inspire those modern horror films. Whosamaki. This film adapts a story from infamous mangaka Junji Ito, whose characteristic illustration and twisted body horror themes have made him well known around the world, especially in kind of memeable formats online. In the film, a small town becomes obsessed by spirals, starting with filming a snail's spiral patterned shell, becoming stranger and stranger until a girl's twisty hair comes to life, tornadoes plague the lake, and a man gets twisted up in a washing machine. That one I'm not going to show you because it still freaks me out even now, years after I first watched the movie. What's really notable here is the surreal imagery of the film, rarely technically gory, but always disturbing in ways that can be hard to define. The dreamlike tone of the movie really gets under your skin, and it's compounded by the plot basically not making much sense. Nothing really gets wrapped up, and plenty of what's happening in the town is left up to interpretation. Tetsuo The Iron Man. The other movies on this list are polished, high-budget productions, which really makes Tetsuo stand out. Written, produced, directed, and edited by Shinya Tsukamoto, who also acts in the film, Tetsuo shows the strange story of an everyday salaryman who has a run-in with a metal fetishist and begins to transform into a horrible half-man, half-metal creature. This very loose plot is told in a really characterful, fractured way, and the extremely cheap production value of the film means that it's shot entirely in this high contrast, grainy 16mm black and white film. The effects work is usually just simple stop motion, and the costumes are created out of old TV parts and other bits of junk. There's not even synchronized sound for most of it, which makes the film feel kind of nightmarish and disconnected, like things aren't flowing quite right. Mixed with that potent psychosexual imagery that's all over the movie, it's become a cult classic. Pulse. In two linked stories, young Japanese people find themselves at the mercy of technologically inclined ghosts. No, it's not as stupid as that sounds. Kudo's colleague commits suicide, leaving behind a strange loop of images on his computer monitor, while Ryosuke's computer starts to access a strange website on its own, showing people stuck in dark rooms acting strangely. With its uncanny recurring imagery, like this weird red tape or scary reflections in a computer monitor, Pulse is all about what isn't seen or explicitly stated and what might lurk in the shadows. But underneath that, it tells a pretty potent story about loneliness in a connected age, and like Ring, it connects with this modern concern of technology encroaching on everyday life. That's it for this list of 5 great Japanese horror movies, and I'd love to hear your recommendations below. Honourable mentions that didn't make this list include Cure, Dark Waters, Ju-On, Don't Look Up, basically anything with a girl with long stringy hair, because I thought I could only have one. I'm interested to hear what else I've missed out as well. So until then, have a good one, and bye for now.